She wants to share her story, but she asked us not to show her face.
I'm scared of getting deported.
She fears being targeted within the only life she knows and deported to a life she has no recollection of.
I was born in Mexico. I am a Mexican citizen, but I grew up in the United States all my life.
The fear of deportation is a common thread among the undocumented. The Migration Policy Institute estimates more than 13 million unauthorized immigrants lived in the U.S. as of mid-2023.
We're hearing stories about parents keeping their kids home from school, people being afraid to go to the grocery store, people taking days off of work when they hear that ICE might be around.
Julia Gillette is the Associate Director of the U.S. Immigration Policy Program at the Migration Policy Institute.
We've heard the Trump administration say that anybody who's in the country without authorization is considered a criminal. They say that because it is a crime to cross the border without authorization. Of course, some people came on a legal visa and overstayed that visa.
This young woman was carried across the border by her mother when she was just 8 months old.
I don't even want to remember because it was so scary. You know, carrying a baby by my own with strange people from Salvador, from Guatemala, from many other countries, and it was very scary.
Their family falls under what would be defined as a mixed status family. Everyone is undocumented except for the oldest child. Mom says the roots trace back decades. She was a young lady in Guerrero, Mexico with dreams of a better life. She decided to head north for economic and other reasons and found the man she ended up marrying also in the U.S. in the same situation.
I met my husband here, I got married, then after I have my first child.
As she recalls the past, Mom tells me about a time when undocumented people would come to America with greater ease. She and her husband went back to Mexico with their son, but ultimately decided the U.S. provided better opportunities, so they made the decision to return. Because she was expecting her daughter, her son and husband went first, and she stayed back for safety reasons. They finally all reunited in America. The family has been together in New York City for more than 2 decades.
I wasn't even aware of the status until my cousins went to Mexico and I had to ask, why can't I go? And then at 5 years, my mom had to sit down with me and tell me the harsh truth. When all my life I thought I was just like everyone else.
In her 20s now, this young woman says being undocumented has become part of her identity.
Later on, when I was in middle school and I had to apply for opportunities, or in high school when I started, the internships started happening. I couldn't apply to internships, so a lot of things started being restricted.
She admits those restrictions have long been frustrating, and sometimes she wishes she was like her brother, an American citizen.
This one thing restricts me for pursuing the person I want to be.
While the family has always had barriers, they say the last few months have been the hardest, as they've watched the Trump administration start to deliver on the promise of mass deportations in New York City, across the tri-state, and across the nation.
I can't describe how I feel, but it's very sad. We usually go out a lot, but now we're scared. We don't want to go out.
Based in New Jersey, Amy Torres is the executive director of the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. The organization works with the undocumented community.
Fearful, uncertain, right? But there's also a lot of anger, especially when we talk about long-term undocumented communities or long-term communities who maybe have documentation but don't have a pathway to citizenship.
Immigration has long been a back-and-forth topic for the nation's leaders, layered with economic, humanitarian, and other concerns. It's polarizing and emotional for many Americans.
There is such a large backlog in our immigration system,
with many long pushing for immigration reform and different avenues to citizenship, and others pushing for a tighter and more secure border, especially when it comes to national security and crime. The complexities are numerous.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted.
As we're watching the president and his administration move forward.
If you're in the country legally, it's not okay. It's not okay to violate laws of this country.
It's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
That culture shift is noted by many who made the illegal journey into the United States decades ago.
Muy diferente. Muy diferente.
This mom, daughter, and their family, an example of the impact of changing times.
I know the White House said that we are considered criminals, but I'm not a criminal.
With so much uncertainty facing millions,
I wish I had the proper documents.
the undocumented community is left in limbo.
It's something that I wake up with, I go to sleep with.
Many managing life on the edge of possible deportation.
The fear is just there, not only for myself, but for my parents and for my family.
Stephanie Bertini, Fox 5 News.